All right, hey, what up, everybody? It's me, Aquas, and we're going to be doing STG Weekly episode 212 on Xeno Crisis. This is kind of a modern arena shooter, kind of in the vein of Smash TV, somewhat with the arenas with like the 4 doors in each side of the room, and you advance through the levels, doing multi-directional shooting, 8-way shooting. And this game was put out by Bitmap Bureau 2019, and they're known for some various games like Final Vendetta, and right now they're working on the new Terminator 2 2D side-scroller. But for now, we'll be talking Xeno Crisis. This is a pretty amazing game that I've spent a lot of time with myself, so I'll be showing you guys some replays of my own gameplay, but I'm going to be joined by RNGesus. What up, RNGesus?
Oh, what's up, guys?
And I'm also going to be co-hosted
great to be here,
by Maximo. Yeah, but RNGesus, you got into playing this game like I guess a few years before me, but you were on our Smash TV episode in the past, so now we're doing like another arena shooter with you. But it's really great to have you on here, and I think we'll be able to provide some good insights. So, like, what's your story with this game, and what's your take on Xeno Crisis? I guess this is some early questions I'll give you.
All right, yeah, the wonderful game of Xeno Crisis has great music, it has great graphics, it's ported on everything, it's kind of a hidden gem, for lack of better terms. If you get into the Smash TV tournament every year, like Aquas and I did, Telio and some of the other guys, I was sitting there just kind of, between resets, I was like Googling, games like Smash TV, and I happened to just boot up Xeno Crisis. I got the controls down, and I was surprised at watching some speedruns of it. Like, the game seemed a little easy, off the bat, just as far as just trying to play it, but the speedrun really interests me. And I was sitting there spamming in Aquas's chat, hey Aquas, man, this speedrun has some cool mechanics, it has a cool way to save time, everything is there's a way to optimize it, and there's all this fun stuff with the speedrun. You should check out the Xeno Crisis speedrun. And he just, he said, oh, it seems like a cool game, I'm busy with other things, I'll get back to it when I do. And lo and behold, I was surprised about, a couple of years later or whatever, Aquas really started grinding it, and he, we're gonna talk about all the details tonight. But yeah, I'm excited to that Aquas got the world record in the MegaDrive version. I was sitting there grinding it for about, I think I played it really heavily for about a month and a half or so, and I was really into it. And it's a great game, guys. If you're into 8-way shooting, maybe a lot of just standard gamers that are into Enter the Gungeon or some of the other, modern Steam 8-way shooting kind of modern games. I think if you go into the Smash TV and the Xeno Crisis world, you're going to find just a beautiful world of gaming to enjoy. So I guess I'll put it at that as an intro.
Yeah,
it's just a great game.
Yeah, indeed. I will say though, so the game has a crazy amount of ports. As you can see on screen, I've listed all of them. I didn't even know there was a PlayStation one. I'm not sure if they meant the modern PlayStation or not, but I haven't heard of the PlayStation one. But yeah, but of note is that basically they have like the modern version that's on like PC, Switch, PS4, Xbox Series X and S. That is the modern version. So that version is notably different than Classic, and Classic is pretty much all of the other ports. With another differentiation being that, for example, the Neo Geo version and like some of the other versions have limited amount of buttons you can use to control the game. So they actually have a different control scheme that's not available in the modern version. That's where you use buttons to rotate your shot clockwise or counterclockwise. So you actually have 2 different control schemes between the classic versions. Neo Geo does use the rotate the gun way to do it, because Neo Geo is 4 buttons, as I recall. But the modern version is all just you use the face buttons to shoot in your multiple directions, or you could use the twin stick setup as well. Essentially, it is a twin stick shooter. But we will be watching the Mega Drive version first. A speedrun I did just earlier today, just a good fresh one. And the Mega Drive version, well, there's multiple little differences that we'll get into as we go through the episode, but essentially the Mega Drive version is easier for some various reasons. The main one being that is you don't get like completely swarmed by enemies, and the bullet projectiles are slower. That's kind of the main thing that makes it easier, but on top of that, though, the game does have a hard difficulty and an easy difficulty. We'll be looking at the hard difficulty runs. And then on top of that, we'll be looking at the good ending runs for this. So there's a bad ending and a good ending, and in true arcade fashion, it's like to get the good ending, you have to 1 credit clear until the final level. And that allows you to play the final boss, the final boss, and like the true final boss if you 1cc to that point. So thankfully I did get the good ending on these 2 runs I did today. But I actually did fail one of them, so I made it just in time and did another one. Because yeah, the PC / modern version is just like, it's just kind of insane what it throws at you, and you will really see the difference once we get there. But yeah, we'll just be talking about we'll just be diving in, talking about the enemies and the weapons. You do have like the random weapon drops, similar to Smash TV. There's a kind of a big element with the drops of the weapons, and in classic version doesn't matter as much. You can really use the main machine gun pretty much as often as you want, although it does have an ammo limit. So when you're playing the game, you're constantly grabbing the ammo boxes to refill your ammo, and that will drop when your ammo is going pretty low. You start with like 100, and then it'll drop once you get to 25. So that's like an element you got to deal with in the game. And then like there's the random weapon drops. Some are good, some are bad, some are better than others. We'll talk about that. And then as for the speedrun, well, the game also features like a shop system, so you have to collect dog tags as a item that just drops from enemies randomly, and you use those dog tags to purchase stuff in the shop. But the speedrun will skip many of the optional doors. There's not a ton of them, but there is some optional rooms. We'll skip some optional rooms and go basically bare bones with the upgrades, and it really tightens the noose on the gameplay, because it is pretty intense.
Yeah, I will say for the Genesis version, if you guys have played the Genesis version and maybe the PC version, I would say that I played a lot of the Genesis version, and then I played the PC version. And if you've played the game on Steam or on GOG.com, if you think the game is too hard and you still want to enjoy the game, definitely go to the Genesis version. I think for the survival clear, it's definitely doable with some time. And now, if you really like Xeno Crisis, I would definitely check out the speedrun. There are so many things in this game that can be optimized, and when you start speedrunning the Genesis version, it becomes like addicting. Wouldn't you say, Aquas? Like just optimizing the little, how can I shoot less at this guy? How can I knife this large enemy? How can I get this dog tag? And then you realize that there's a roll, like in Dark Souls, but then you realize like, okay, I get iframes. Okay, I can just spam roll, right? Well, in the speedrun, it takes like 1 second off of your run every time you roll. So it's like, okay, rolling is a time loss.
Yeah.
I wrote that down. It's like, you start realizing you're like, oh, I didn't shoot for a whole like second and a half there, and now there's a bunch of dudes. So it's something to keep in mind. I think before going into this run, guys, think of everything in this speedrun is everything takes time. Like the rolling, the going from a large and knifing it, that's saving time.
Having to find the ammo, yep. Because the ammo is going to drop in random spots, and yeah.
Yeah, so it's like if you see like, the run, maybe Aquas struggles for a whole like 5 seconds just trying to find an opportunity to grab the ammo, that's time loss. So it gets exciting when you start doing repeat attempts. You're like, oh, that was a great ammo box, stuff like that. So it really lends itself to speedrunning. When you say Aquas, like there's a lot of aspects of this game that it's like, wow, this is a great speedrun.
You always have stuff to do, and like some enemy, like basically the enemies will come out in formations, but some enemy types will like if you don't kill them, that will like stop other enemies from coming in. So you can't let a certain enemy type be on screen for too long. So you're also managing that for the speed element. But if you stay on top of stuff like you can in the MegaDrive version, way better than the PC version, you can keep the pace a bit more consistent. But man, in the modern version, they just throw like 20 enemies at you in some rooms, and you're just like, oh shit, I don't have a weapon drop, and this is gonna be really fucked up now.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch to compare the two. But yeah, like, so coming in, guys, like just I think of one thing to say is just the game can be optimized down to like the amount of bullets per enemy, and that's what's exciting. So when you see like an enemy kill that's like the last, anytime you see shots hitting the wall, anytime that you see Aquas rolling, anytime you see him looking for ammo, that is time lost. And it is insane that Aquas got the sub 30 on this game, because I watched Shaddix or Dagrin. He grinded this game for like 2 years, the previous record holder, like on and off, like in his free time, and he could not get the sub 30. So talking the world record holder here, let's I mean, we can start the gameplay, guys. Just to I was gonna say, but I have a lot of things written down and what to say, but I have some questions and stuff like that. But yeah, let's get into it, guys. Like, I'm just excited to watch this the Aquas play some Xeno Crisis here.
Yep. All right. Let's get the Genesis run started here. Did do this one run earlier today. Wasn't the fastest of runs. You know, I was trying to make sure I got the good ending, but you will see me play safe occasionally. So we're gonna start from 0, and it'll be on 3, 2, 1, go. On go, click play, and yeah, let's get into this then.
All right.
3, 2, 1, go.
Xeno Crisis.
Yeah, I wanted to do some fresh replays so we could have the game audio going without like commentary over it, because we're going to be commenting on it. Okay, of note, I'll just say to do a speed run, you for the leaderboard, like we play on a specific seed. So every time you start the game with a random seed, which randomizes the environmental objects and where the doors are and how like the map layouts are, but that's like pretty much it. Like, it doesn't include the weapon drops and that type of thing. But this is going to be seed 1. This is what people compete with the speed run, because the different seeds do affect the different time here. And yeah, first you just like start off. I'll just like take a position in the middle of the room and try to make sure I'm killing stuff quickly, and also grabbing the dog tags. Those do disappear pretty quickly, like after about like 5 or, and it's like maybe 8 seconds. But you do need as many of those as possible, and I'm actually gonna do one extra room. Wait, no, that's for the next run. I'm gonna skip all the optional rooms in this run. But yeah, I see me. I just had the spreader there, and then I just took damage. Also, I will say that another mechanic we haven't mentioned, there is the dodge roll that is invincible, and you can cancel it with by shooting or by pressing the roll button again. But if you press the roll button again, you can only cancel it like after a little bit of the roll. But if you shoot mid-roll, it's an instant cancel. But then also there's a melee attack, and you do have a separate button for the melee attack, but I'll just be using it with the auto activation. So it's auto activation melee attack, and it basically one-shots anything that can take melee damage, which actually is pretty useful. So you'll see later on in the run that being used in the first stage boss here. Pretty claustrophobic boss. Just making sure I'm just hitting the boss as much as possible. Hoping for the speedrun, like, it does kind of come down to drops at times as far as like getting the best of times, but you just can't have that optimal scenario all the time. So I mean, I would have preferred like a shotgun or a rocket or a laser in there, but or another grenade. Maybe I'll let you take stage 2 here.
The shop boss in this game is something else, guys. Like, if you guys are doing attempts, like, sometimes you go into the shop and you have varying degrees of dog tag amounts, and there's certain ways that you route it based on the amount of. I didn't see the amount of. Did you get the double power this time? I don't think you got the 24.
No, I think I only had enough. Yeah,
tags.
I only had enough for like the 1 power, I think. So I got like a small amount.
So in an optimal run, if you watch a world record, guys, like it's probably probable that he gets enough dog tags to get the power, and that really makes your shot just kill things a lot faster. And of course, that's going to optimize your run. But yeah, it's just something else like that first stage of the kind of the first stage reset. Sometimes you'll reset if you're going for a world record just to try to get the amount of dog tags that are RNG. And every single time that you grab the dog tags, you got to position yourself to kill enemies. So it just like, you know, you can see the gameplay here. It's like, should I grab the dog tag? Should I grab the ammo? Do I still have ammo? Should I kill this guy? You know, everything is time loss. You know, a roll loses you a second and a half. So it is just wild to try to. Even I think the try to get like a sub 31, I remember, was really hard for me when I first got into the speedrun. Like, what was your first PB, Aquas? Do you remember? You don't even probably remember what your first time of clearing this game on the good ending.
I'm sure it was over 35 minutes.
Yeah, it was over 35 for me or something like that. And then you start speedrunning, you're like, how does this get lower? Like, what am I doing wrong? And then you realize that everything you're doing is losing time, right?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, you gotta start skipping the optional rooms, so you're gonna be low on dog tags. And those power-ups do make a pretty big difference in the early game, even more so in the modern version. Got the chain gun here, really powerful weapon.
Yeah, so if you love the game and you want to try to optimize it, try to go for like maybe like a sub 31, and it'll just blow your mind. You'll sit there for days just finishing runs, and you'll go, how do I make this faster? How do I do it?
Yeah, so I just like saved my grenades.
Got the sub 30.
Yeah, I just saved my grenades for this boss because the grenades tend to do a lot of damage on bosses. So I had to conserve I couldn't use them during the level. Then you just use them here, and this pattern is like pretty much determined. Though I think you can manipulate sometimes where he goes. Anyway, that was kind of slow because I didn't like have a weapon going in there, and then I just used the grenades. But you got to respect it. You can die so quickly.
Something for the viewers. You can enjoy these worms on the MegaDrive version in particular. I do remember that they have a certain like amount of cycles, and you can minimize the cycle to like the optimized cycle. So when you guys see these worms, they're priority because they take time to respawn. So you can minimize your speed, or you can minimize your time in the run. You can save a lot of time by just killing the worms almost immediately, because they're always usually the last ones you'll kill, right? In every single room, these worms are like, did I get a good worm cycle on this run? And that's usually where you save the time, I think.
Yeah.
So yes, you can kill the larges, but like the worms are the key for saving time.
Yeah, it's like you kind of want to make sure.
You gotta watch Tremors.
You know, Tremors. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. This is like Tremors reference.
1 before doing speedruns to give you the Tremors 1 buff.
You can tell. I mean, this is that kind of old school, you know, with Tremors references.
Quick question: is there any tier list between like what weapons do? Which one of the weapon drops like do the most damage versus like least damage, and like their rate of how they appear?
You want to take that, Iron Jesus?
Absolutely not. The drops screw you over. It's completely random. I think a lot of games you can. I wrote down, you know, routing, gearing, and the RNG factor in a lot of games we play. And this game just has that high RNG factor for a lot of things. Like you can route your shopping. You can there's some rooms you can optimize the worm spawns. Like there's a couple of rooms in this stage in particular where you can route it. But like every single time you see the Vulcan or the laser or the RPG, that is world record time saving, you know, drop. So and even the grenades, sometimes you go for the drop and it screws you over, you take damage. There's so much of this game where every single thing that Aquas is doing, you can't route it out. You know, a lot of it's just RNG. It's just RNG, and I think that there are good drops and bad drops, but yeah, there is no, like, it's all just random. And when you do resets, a lot of the time where you're saving time is because you got a laser or you got a Vulcan. And I'll leave it at that. I guess like I'll let you guys
Okay.
talk a little bit. I won't rant too much, but yeah, the drops are completely random. It is. They can be at your feet. Sometimes you can get the BFG at the feet or something weird, and you end up taking damage.
Yeah, so if you have a weapon you don't want, you have to ditch it, and to do that in the classic version, you got to hit all four shot buttons. And then, what else was I gonna say? So you saw me grab like the reflector back there, and then I grabbed like a homing weapon. Like both of those weapons are quite weak, so I tend to not use those. The reflector I did use for a little bit. It's kind of useful here. But yeah, we see the gasser enemies and these bat enemies. Yeah, I just want to like stun those bats with some shots, and then if I'm close to them, I'll melee them. These gassers and the purple guys, like they have a bit more HP. But yeah, those guys, the gassers, yeah, they launch like that homing attack on your location, and then if they get that attack out, it lets out like a gas, and then that will hurt you. So you just want to kill them as fast as possible, and thankfully you are able to manage them. But yeah, like best weapon is going to be the laser and the rocket, and the chain gun, I would say, or the Vulcan, and the rest are kind of crap.
Yeah, so
Frankly.
that's just really just, if you happen to get it, you get it, and if not, then you just focus on more immediate threats that are spawning in, from what it sounds like.
And so there I got the grenade power. That's going to increase the range of the grenade. And then I bought more grenades, and that's because grenades save a ton of time on the boss at this level. So I want to save the grenades for the boss, and just try to survive, basically. But on this level, you have to grab orbs to go through the doors. They're like key cards, essentially. So we'll be going to the side rooms in all the side rooms in this level to grab those, and then completing it. These enemies, these little purple, these blue brain melt, gaping jaw enemies, yeah, they're pretty annoying. They are tough to kill. Of note, in the MegaDrive version, they you can't continuously shoot them after they take damage, but they always like zip around and such. They behave a bit different in the modern version, but those guys are pretty annoying. They move a little bit faster after you shoot them once, and then we also have the appearance of these like regular mooks that leave blood puddles behind. As you might expect, running over the blood puddle does hurt you, and when you get flooded by them, it can get pretty annoying. There's a spreader. That's usually a weapon you want to use, so I'm going to grab that when I get an opportunity here.
I was gonna say, this stage is kind of like the wall for a lot of new speedrunners. Even in Aquas' world record, I was checking that video out before the stream today, and Aquas gets down to 1 health, and it's very common in this stage. You're underpowered. You spent all of your dog tags on getting your weapon more powerful, and you did not spend anything. Like on a survival run, you would maybe spend a little bit on health, or in the speed run, you get down to 1 health, and then you start playing worse because you're down to 1 health, and that happens in Aquas's world record run, even after he's played the game for many hours. So it's just the enemy spawns at the feet. The way you have to try to you're trying to speed run, so you have to grab that ammo right away, even if there's enemies right next to it. And then the blood on the floor is just terrible. Like Aquas, I was gonna say, like the hitboxes in this level in particular are a little wonky, right? Like the explosions of those enemies, they go upwards. So you're standing there, and all of a sudden the explosion can hit you, the blood can hit you, the spawn at the feet can hit you, and you're down to 1 health all of a sudden, even though you've been running the game for a month.
Yeah,
so it is a little bit of something.
Yeah, it can really get out of hand. You're right. You just gotta vie for a good position where like you're not gonna get shit spawning on you. Here in this stage, it's like the environments, like the walls, the enemies will like creep out from behind the walls. So if you're standing there, you can just take instant damage. So you do want to stay away like from these walls on the left and bottom. Like enemies can creep out of there. So you saw one come out right there. Don't want to be over there.
Yeah, so see, like, look, he had to try to, he rolled through a group of enemies, he had to, tap dodge at the end of the roll, and he still took damage there, so it's just, the RNG factor is wild in this speedrun.
Yeah, and as you said, when you do get down to 1 health, you can't really play your game anymore, because a lot of it is having confidence in like not taking damage, but the thing is you can take damage so easily. Like right there, like I rolled in for that dog tag. That was a bit greedy, so I took a damage. But
you have
I'm
to get the dog
yeah.
tags, otherwise the rest of the run is slower. So it's,
Yeah.
it is wild. This speedrun is so interesting because that factor of that chase and that factor of taking, like, you have no health, but you still have to grab the dog tag, you still have to grab the ammo, and there's an enemy exploding right there, and you don't know if you're going to take damage. And you get down to 2 health on the boss and 1 health.
One
There's
cool.
an optimal
Yeah.
way. This is one of the speedrun bosses. I made a guide. You guys can check the speedrun.com for the optimization of the grenades. And that's kind of cool on this boss. So there's some speed tech on this boss.
Oh yeah, yeah. Basically, I'm gonna throw the grenade against the wall, and then it's gonna hit all 3 of those orbs at once. I think it's what it happens, and then you just get massive damage. So you want to have at least 3 grenades for that phase to do that trick. That speeds up things quite a bit here, and then you'll use grenades
One
occasionally.
health.
Oh god. Okay, well, no. I had 3 health. I had
Always
3
down
health.
to 1 health on this boss.
No, I got 3 health. I got 3
Oh,
health.
is it 3 health? No, it's 1 health on my screen.
You watching the MegaDrive?
Am I watching? Yeah, I'm watching the MegaDrive you link. Oh, that's weird.
You
How
sure?
do have 3 health? I watched the link you guys linked.
Xeno Crisis MegaDrive speedrun showcase. Hard, good ending.
Yeah, what timestamp you guys at? 1 second here. Maybe
14. The boss just ended.
Pause the video. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, we can pause it. Yeah.
So I got 1417 on the MegaDrive. I swear I'm watching the right video.
Does it say Xeno Crisis MegaDrive speedrun showcase? For the title.
Yeah, I'm watching the. Okay, so what timestamp you guys had? I'm sorry. I watched the video and I had it up. So the video you just linked in the.
The most recent link
Oh,
was
you
the
linked
PC
the
version.
PC.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're watching the MegaDrive. Okay.
Yep.
Maybe I was.
It's okay. What
So
you
we
said
just
was what you
finished
said.
it.
What you
Right,
said.
14.
Yeah, we'll restart from
1417.
We can do 1417. Yeah.
Okay, 1417. I'm sorry, guys. Like maybe I was watching the.
It's okay.
It's around the
What
same
you were
time,
saying was
so-
was lining up regardless.
All right, so maybe 1417. You guys got it?
Yeah. Okay, I'll count us down.
And then,
back in here.
Okay.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, score 299 300, rank B.
Yep, we got it.
Okay. No worries. What you were saying was lining up except for the health thing. I think I did have 3 health at the very end. I let the cutscenes play a little bit
sorry
here
about that,
on
guys.
this
Yeah, I
run.
was just gonna say,
No worries.
like I said, on the world record run, Aquas went down to 1 health in that stage, and then he magically got the large health pack. So that just sometimes happens in this run.
Yeah, the random large health pack. It's just random if you get the health, the grenades, or weapon drops. Ideally, you get like good weapons and you get health when you need it, but sometimes health just doesn't drop. And you could be low, and it gets kind of annoying. Anyway, we're moving on here. This level does not have a boss, so I don't need to buy grenades. I just bought like some speed and ammo and stuff. More ammo, the better, if you can afford it, because, you know, that's less times you need to chase ammo boxes, which can get you into big trouble. Like, because if the ammo spawns inside of just a big thing of enemies that aren't dead, it's just like, you're losing big time for that, specifically. We'll see the mines now appear in these levels. Just set that off on purpose.
I remember in this room in particular, there's that worm sequence effect where you can get the first cycle and you can save like 5, 6, 7 seconds on the first cycle worms. So in the world record, he probably gets the first cycle worms here.
Yeah, you save some time if you can just end the room immediately when the worms are left over. If they're still underground at the end, it's like you're losing some time. Otherwise, you can stay on top of things pretty good. Spreader, that's good. That's good. It's like good coverage, good close range damage. I usually use it. And you don't need to worry about the gassers too much in MegaDrive because they don't actually attack until like 5 seconds that they appear. We'll see in the modern version that's not the case. They are evil in
Oh
that
yeah,
version.
man, the modern version, they're pretty real.
But here we can manage it. In fact, well, I wouldn't buy a gas mask yet, but yeah, they are a problem. And don't need to go to optional rooms on this level, so we're just gonna go straight to the end. So it's not too long of a level. And then you'll see me when the opportunity arises and like enemies are close by. I'll use the melee to kind of be more efficient with killing enemies. If I have a weapon like the spreader, it's just sometimes better just to not risk it, because the melee activation is a little finicky. You do got to like line up pretty good with the enemies. And then yeah, these bats, if you let the bats out of control, they shoot a spread shot. It's kind of annoying.
I think in the Genesis version, the hitboxes of enemies are a little bit smaller, and then we'll see later in the PC version, just something to keep in mind. The hitboxes, I've heard like Marty and other guys, they just complain the hitboxes seem a little bit bigger in the PC version. I think that's or maybe just a little bit like stretched to 16:9 or something. It seems a little bit unintuitive of where the enemies, the hitbox is.
Yeah, so I just got Xeno Crisis.
Aquas got hit by a spawn at the feet.
Yeah, that's getting Xeno Crisis.
Spawn at the feet.
That's just something you have to deal with when you play this game. There really is no clear answer to avoiding getting a spawn at the feet like that from those guys, unfortunately. They do tend to not spawn at the far edges of the screen, I think, but you don't want to be at the like far edges of the screen is the problem. You always want to be in a good position to like kill everything, and then the main strategy for that boss is just a grenade when he does that like spread shot, and the grenades do get rid of they cancel bullets for you. So I just timed the grenade so that I don't have to deal with dodging that.
Think about grenades, Aquas, right? Like in the stages, it'd be nice to use the grenades, but in the speed run, it's kind of cool that you have to keep all the grenades for the boss, right? Like you can't just use the grenades.
Yeah.
So it's like the knife comes in on the stages.
Yep, so I just grabbed some health, a grenade, and grenade
he's
power.
upgrading he's now maxed out.
Did I get maxed out? Pretty close, I think.
I think you got maxed out, or everything pretty much maxed out. Maybe you're missing.
Sometimes it can max out here, but
it'll
it'll max out in the next stage, usually in the speed run for sure. So it's like that's kind of nice. There's only 2 more stages now. We go to the lab, change of scenery, and then some new enemy types. Yeah, these little like I don't know, what do we call them, Roombas or something? I don't know, we didn't really have a name for them. But yeah, those enemies, you can't attack them until they're done bouncing on the ground, but they can land on you, so you gotta watch the shadows. Then we also have the zombies. They have like, once you shoot them, they are in a down state, and then they'll come back after like a few seconds. It's random when they come back though. When they come back, they'll come at you faster, but when they are downed, you can roll over them to kill them, just like I did there. So I'll try to like work on like meleeing them just to get the quick kill on them, as I'm doing right now, and then at the same time trying to just make sure I'm like shooting like stuff that's more important to shoot, because the zombies, they have a lot of HP, so they tend to just like waste time from trying to shoot them too much. And here I'm trying to like melee them, but I just took damage, and it's just like, well, I didn't want to take damage there. I thought I was being careful. And like that's kind of the thing, like with this game, whenever you move, you slide a little bit. So it's not like perfectly accurate movement. You do like a tiny little slide whenever you move. So you do have to keep that in mind when you're trying to like do like precision movement. And that is difficult at times when you're trying to line up and get these melee kills. We also have the introduction of the sniper gun guys. Just want to kill them as soon as possible.
I was thinking of something like, I think this is the first stage where we realize there's like some vicious like stacks of like zombies that can be deceptive, where there's something going on where you have like 3 zombies stacked on top of each other, and somehow you just get hit by one because they're stacked. And that goes for every single enemy type in the game. There can be these weird kind of unfortunate stacks of spawns, and the game doesn't really care. It just stacks them on top of each other, and you'll react to the one you see, but because there's a stack of them, and you'll see later in another stage I have noted, like there's a stack of zombies, and you can definitely take some damage. Like I think you just took damage, because he did a thing with the zombie, and the zombie still damaged him. So they're a
Oh.
little finicky for sure.
Well, there it was because an enemy spawned right as I rolled over the zombie.
Right.
But yeah, like...
Yeah, so I think, yeah, but you'll see, like, damage is common. Like, you'll see, like, a stack of zombies, and like, you'll take damage from the stack, is what I'm saying. Like, there's stacks of enemies that can just kind of, the sprites overlap type thing.
Yeah, that was a good grenade back there. There was like 4 zombies, and the room was about to end, and they were gonna take extra time to kill. So even though I want the grenades for the boss, they're gonna do more damage to the boss. It's a little more efficient if like a big pack of enemies shows himself to use the grenade, especially near the end of the room. And yeah.
It's like, I think on my run in particular, I remember I used too many grenades in the stage because you get addicted to the big boom, and then you're low on the boss. Because like you get those juicy grenades, and then you're low on the boss. You're grenade short to optimize the boss time. So it gets addicting. You see a group of these slow-moving zombies with lots of health, and you want to grenade them. But on the speed run, you gotta have the full grenade stock for the boss, otherwise you're losing time. So it's a you know, give and take kind of situation.
Yeah, so now we have the introduction of these like turrets that like emerge out of the ground. They don't fire until like 3 or 4 seconds until they pop out, and you can just really freely walk over them to melee them, and you won't take damage. So they're pretty easy to take out if you're on top of things. But you don't want them to group up on you. And then you also have another enemy that comes out of the ground in random locations, the little electric circuit thing there. Yeah, the hitbox on that electricity is quite big, so it's really easy to take damage from them. But you can roll over them to destroy them. So you can either do that right as they spawn or as they're leaving. But if you can't roll through the electric shock, sadly. Same with the blood pools earlier. You can't roll through a blood pool. You will take damage. There, I just popped a grenade
Like
because, yeah.
World, I was
Go
just
ahead.
gonna say, in an optimized world, guys, like if you're trying to speedrun this, like the optimized, like if you were like a Taz bot, I think the optimized route would be to like be standing next to heavies and melee them in between every single one of your shots, like almost like your melee is so much damage. So if you think of like if you watch like a DPS meter, your DPS meter would go up if you were constantly standing next to enemies and meleeing them, or if you had like a weapon like a shotgun, like Aquas is here. So it's a very interesting gameplay loop where you're constantly trying to think, can I melee this enemy? Can I melee this enemy? Can I melee this enemy? And it gets addicting, and then at the same time you're low on health. So it's like, should I melee this to save time for the speedrun? And that's how Aquas got the sub 30, is just standing next to enemies that are going to kill him, but somehow weaving the melee. The melee weave is an addicting aspect to this game that's very, very unique to it.
Yeah, they did a good job implementing that, I think, and you know, putting in the risk and reward with that for sure, because you know, it is quite powerful. One-hit kills on everything it works on. Got a nice Vulcan here.
And the mix of the wonky hitboxes, it really does add like a risk and reward. Like you'll be like, how did I get hit there? I think the hitbox
like there,
is square or something.
Like there, like I didn't
How
like
did he
I
get hit?
wasn't like centered. You got to be like centered with them really well, and it's just kind of hard to react. See, that was like very centered there for that one. I think what it is in the MegaDrive, the melee hitbox is just smaller. I think that's the big thing.
Yeah,
But,
something else
could be
I have
wrong.
written down is just like the notion of like when you melee, you stop shooting. So it's like, can you optimize the amount? There's something you can do, especially I think it's a little bit more prominent in the MegaDrive version, where you can sort of start shooting a little bit sooner than the animation would let you know you can. So you can kind of melee and then shoot like in the middle of the melee animation when you start really optimizing it, and it's kind of cool. I called it a melee cancel, but I don't know. Aquas was I don't really think that's a thing, but I think it's sort of a thing. Like,
Yeah, no, I think you are right,
if
but
you wait for the full sound.
yeah, I think you are right, but
Aquas. Like, I'm
it's
just
like,
saying, like,
yeah, it's like not. I think it does make it faster, but it's like, is it worth it to do like that extra thing? You know.
Yeah, you can kind of hear and see the melee, but if you can't, like, if you shoot a little bit, you can kind of start. If you're meleeing everything and just walking around like a slow, dude, trying to melee everything, you'll start to notice you're like, oh, I'm not shooting it enough. So it's like there's something you can do where you see the animation happening, but you can almost, if you practice it, you can get it to cancel just maybe a little bit sooner, and it does save you time, I think, over the whole run. And I remember watching Shaddix, or the world record holder, doing that. He was just like a blink of an eye, the melee would occur, and then the shooting would start almost like a little bit sooner than you would do, like intuitively, I guess is what I'm saying.
I'll also investigate that further, because it sounds like it is a thing, but I didn't notice it too much myself. But
you can really like start shooting like immediately upon the melee, like triggering. I don't know. It's a weird thing.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, because the melee has the cooldown of like 3 seconds. It's like, or like not 3 seconds. It's like 1.5 seconds or 2 seconds. So if you whiff your melee, like you gotta know that you can't just get right back in there. I think my video froze there. Or the actual YouTube video froze there.
Oh man, so probably still close up.
It's good, it's fine.
I was gonna say something annoying that happened to me when I remember running this. I was telling Aquas, I was like, guys, in the final stage, there's this glitch where these ghost enemies can go into the wall and you just lose your run for no reason. So sometimes one of these ghosts will, especially in the MegaDrive version, they'll just kind of get glitched in the out of screen area.
Yep.
And you'll lose either like 17 seconds or the whole run will just like soft lock. And it's happened to me on really good paces. So that's one unfortunate aspect of speedrunning this game is but if you do a really good job at clearing the screen, I think it helps. And if you try to focus a little bit on like the ghosts, I think it helps, but I don't really know. Sometimes you just get screwed.
Yeah, you can prevent it. Basically, like when they come out of the room, they might like dart towards the wall. You just need to make sure that one's getting killed. Like that's kind of what it comes. You can prevent
if you
it.
Leave one of these ghosts alive. Yeah, you can get soft locked here.
Yeah, it's happened to me. It's happened to me. But yeah, here we have the shield, the orange guys, the shield. You have to roll in them to destroy their shield and then kill them. Or you can like hit them on the sides, but pretty difficult to do that. Otherwise, like lasers and shotguns and what else kills them? There's some other weapons that kill them just freely. But they are annoying.
In the MegaDrive version, you have like an additional, half a second to react to the shield guys, and in the PC version, they're definitely more of an issue. In this one, you can almost telegraph a little bit better, but in the PC version, even in this version, you just try to go for that roll on the shield, and sometimes you just get hit.
Yeah,
it is a risk.
Oh, nice. So this is the first rocket drop of the run. Look at this. This weapon's bad. This is like the most satisfying weapon. Of course, it was being guarded there, so I just like took damage to make sure I got it.
You can rocket launcher into the doors, and I think it kills enemies off screen, and that is a speed run thing.
Yeah, so just spam the doors.
Like the Smash TV shotgun. Or the rockets on Smash TV did that too, where they kill enemies off screen.
Yeah. They just melee that thing as soon as it appears, and then there's like these like spammy rotating turrets that appear in this level as well. A good strategy to deal with them is if one spawns at like the far edge of the screen, just leave it alive and kill it at the end. There is a finite amount of them in the MegaDrive version, but I find in the modern version they'll just keep spawning over and over. But if you leave it till the end, regardless, that is not an enemy you have to kill a finite amount of, thankfully. So sometimes I'll leave them in the corner of the screen. That's a really good strategy though, because if they're in the center of the screen, like they just create too much chaos. Like usually what you're trying to do is you're trying to just keep the tide of the chaos away, and especially in the modern version.
Yeah, if it's in a good spawning location, you can kind of keep it there and just kind of survive and not take damage because it's in a decent location. And if it's in a really unoptimal location, especially in this PC version, you'll kind of want to kill it because it's like a nuisance.
Yep.
And then there's definitely, a recognition of that a little bit more in that version, I think.
I see I have the max health drop again. So when there's a max health drop, I usually just go crazy with the melees. And then I just know I can just get all my health back. As I did there.
Yeah, see how many shots these turrets take? Like, every single time you melee one of those turrets, it definitely saves time in the speedrun. So I think that's how the world record is had, is like just trying to melee some of these enemies that take like, you know, 7, 8 shots or whatever it is.
Yeah. I rolled into that orange guy, but yeah, he shot right at me right before the roll hit, and then you bounce back into that bullet. So it's like, it's not exactly
wonky.
safe.
Isn't it wonky, Aquas? Like, yeah, it's like it kind of bounces you, and you're just left, you know, up Shit's Creek when you you come out of that roll animation.
Yeah, you can watch like their frequency of shots to kind of pick the right time, but it's still tough. They do fire still at random moments. This is the last room here, by the way. And I did need to 1cc up to this point to able to do this next screen. Otherwise, the game will end up here. So we are looking good. And then also of note is that in the MegaDrive or classic versions, you do get your or no, it's the modern version. In the MegaDrive and classic versions, you do not get your grenades and life refilled in this next screen. So you do want to keep those grenades and your life as best possible. Specifically the grenades, because you really want the grenades for the first phase boss quick kill, and then I'll take an intentional death in the second phase to regroup my grenades. But yeah, I let the cutscene play here. I skipped them in the modern run. But anyway, like the lore though is like if you continue, you take like an elixir, and that elixir is what like poisons you, and so the doctor just like laughs at you here if you continued up at this point in the game, and then you just game over. He says, "We were hoping you make use of the elixir."
Like the lore. It's like you used a continue elixir, now you're dead.
So like, is this guy supposedly like making people into like bio-organic beings or something?
I'm not even sure. I think probably.
Yeah, I was just wondering if there's like any official like story lore or whatever.
I'm not sure what his motive is exactly. Here he is, though. He's gonna mutate. And then you want, you want like about 4 or 5 grenades here to get it in a 2-cycle kill. You're looking for a 2-cycle kill here. So once he opens up, you just keep chucking the grenades.
Maybe some Resident Evil vibes where they're kind of using the elixir to kind of the virus to grant themselves power type vibe.
Yeah. So final phase here, but you want to kill this boss in 3 cycles, I think, on MegaDrive, and to do that, I need all 6 grenades. And it'll be damageable when it opens up the middle mouth / orifice right there. And then so yeah, 2 grenades per opening. And then of note though is when you game over here, you know, it's still good ending. It's just before you get into that orange guard room that you can't game over.
Something really cool I remember the previous world record and my run actually got is you can die on the open face of this final boss where he has his face open, and if you die as the animation is like open, when you respawn you'll actually get an additional grenade because it grenades the screen when you respawn. So
yeah, cool. That is a nice little optimization.
Like respawn grenade or whatever. So you can save, a little bit of time doing that. So that's a cool thing with the speedrun.
That is an advanced strat for sure. Yeah, but then
GG on the run, man. That was sick. Just like throwing a run down.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I got fairly favorable drops. Only 1 rocket. I don't think I saw a single laser. Didn't see a single laser, I think, in that run. That just happens. Like, you just will not get health or lasers or rockets some runs, and it's like, what the hell, game? Come on. Because I mean, it's gonna matter more in the modern version. We'll see. It's just modern version is like, it's almost twice as hard. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it's
just because of the amount of enemies that get spawned are just like the different behaviors.
Well, we were talking about like those enemies that don't fire for like 3 or 4 seconds when they spawn. Like, all those enemies like will start shooting right away, and there'll be more spawns like at once.
Okay.
And I think some projectiles are faster, and the way like the enemies like filter into the room is different.
I see.
We'll see. And then also there's some differences with like the weapons. Like for example, the shotgun does massive damage in the modern version. In the Mega Drive version and classic versions, it doesn't really do that much damage, and it's kind of shitty actually.
Interesting. Also, I do want to ask, because it says there's backers on the credits. Was this game kickstarted?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Have these guys done any like Mega Drive development before this, or was this like something that was new to them, and then they just took the expertise to like porting this game on other platforms?
Man, I don't recall exactly if Final Vendetta. I think that was, I don't know if that was on Mega Drive or not. I don't think so. But the Xeno Crisis Mega Drive version is the original version. I will clarify. And then they did do like all the other ports of the classic versions, and then the modern version is like notably different.
I see.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe RNGesus knows about that.
Yeah, as far as like the origins, I'm pretty sure it just was kickstarted as like this kind of, you know, throwback to the old school vibe, and they got it out on Genesis, and then we just got a port to like every single system, kind of in the realm of how Doom is like the meme for being ported to everything. I think Xeno Crisis was almost involved in like a meme where they were porting their game to every single system, and probably in 10 years when you guys watch this YouTube video, you'll be like, yeah, I played Xeno Crisis on my smart fridge.
Smart fridge. Probably.
Yeah, I was playing that on my smart fridge.
So that was the classic version. It is definitely the version to start with. But there is an easy difficulty. Do you know like how that changes the difficulty, RNGesus? Because I never really messed with easy that much.
Yeah, I speedran the easy version, and it's just, I would maybe, you know, if you guys are, you know, a lot of the people that watch this channel in particular are more hardcore, maybe just start on hard on the Genesis version, honestly, because it does have a good difficulty. Like
Yeah.
You'll notice that, especially if you play Random Seed, you watch Aquas there. You know, a guy like Aquas, you know, he's played the game a lot and he's still getting hit. Like, you would think, oh, you know, if you play the game, you know, 20 times, you could maybe start taking less damage. And there's just this cool gameplay loop with it. It's addicting. There's a sense of the chase. The game will, it forces you to grab the dog tags. It forces you to grab the ammo. It forces you to grab the drops. And every single time you do that, it seems there's an enemy that spawns like in the middle of you trying to get from point A to point B. It's a like I said, it throws you into this like washing machine of bullets and enemies, and it's a great game to just throw on. Like Aquas, you know, and Maximo, you guys are used to playing games where you have to optimize like routing and you know do a very specific thing, and then maybe if you're late one night and you just want to play a game where you can kind of react to the stimulus that the game gives you, Xeno Crisis is the great one to throw on. It just like Smash TV. When you say Aquas, like it's a good kind of, you know, throws you that RNG gauntlet.
Well, Random Seed is actually a lot cooler than doing like the speedrun Seed 1, because I mean it gets a little old but the thing is there's like 25,000 seeds. So like every time you play Random Seed, it's pretty different. Like this run I'm gonna show now, like I'm sure it had some shit I never did before. I had to deal with, so.
Did you get the good ending on this recording, Aquas, right?
The new one, the modern I did, yeah.
Yeah, so on PC hard, guys, like I just to give you some perspective, I know Marty and myself, like just a couple of dudes that like are prominent dudes who played this. I only got 1cc one time because I was like, I didn't really play a lot of the PC version, and I knew it was kind of the balls to the walls hard version. So just let it be known, if you play the PC version on hard, Like it is quite a gauntlet to get through, especially with all the randomness we're talking about. So it's cranked up to 11 for sure.
Yeah, and even with the continues, like I I was trying to record a new run, and I just got like just pwned on like the second outdoors level. Like, and then I was like okay, I'll just continue this run and maybe use this one, but then I had to continue again. And then I continued again, and I'm like, oh shit, well, I might not actually complete this run. And then I actually did use all my continues. And that was just because, like, the game was just being just super rude. Wasn't giving me drops, and the enemies were, like, in these annoying spots, and I was low health, so I was having to play conservative. And then after you continue, you lose, like, the motivation to, like, really focus up, too. So there's like that too.
Yeah, so take it from the world record holder, guys. Like in the MegaDrive version, like in a very very strong time in the PC version. The PC version is no joke. So if you've played the PC version, like, and you're like, wow, this game's too hard. Like, it is hard. It's definitely it's a little rude in a lot of aspects of the gaming universe.
All right, so let's queue up the next video. So we can start to wrap up this episode sooner than later. It is a 34-minute video, so we're gonna do Xeno Crisis PC version here. Hard, good ending, random seed, speedrun showcase, just to make sure you're on the right video. All right, we should be good then. But yeah, I did this on the on my computer today, and once again, the modern version includes the PC and all like the modern consoles, so PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Nintendo Switch. You cannot get the classic version on those systems, period. So that is kind of an interesting thing about Xeno Crisis. But it is I think they should actually have the classic version available on modern consoles, but they don't. They just want you to get their ports. Their countless ports of the game, and like I say, the Neo Geo does have a different control scheme. And like GBA version also uses the rotate the turret control scheme with 2 buttons. So yeah. Okay, let's count it down then. 3, 2, 1, go.
Xeno Crisis.
Yeah, this was a fun run, and yeah, random seed. There's the 2 characters. The woman character is a bit faster, and she has less ammo to start with. But I don't know. Like, there might be potential with that character, but I find that having more ammo and the speed is enough with the male soldier, so I use him. But yeah, so in the modern version, you will be able to see the your health and your ammo and your grenades and dog tags on the side of the screen. That's not being shown right now, but all that information is just seen on the game screen, on the main game screen in the classic version of note. Otherwise, it will tell you like when you grab the health and such. At least I think it does still. Yeah, it does. So it says 4 health there. And so I'm going into this, this is an additional room. I went into this room because I got my ass kicked so hard in the previous run. I was like, okay, I probably need like 5 more dog tags. So I did spend a little extra time just to make sure I was going to get through.
Building up those resources early on.
It's definitely probably needed to grab every single dog tag if you're trying to go for a 1cc on hard on PC.
Yeah, definitely go to all the rooms when you're trying to first get the 1cc, because yeah, you need those tags sooner is better.
24 is the golden number here.
Yeah, I actually did get 24, so I get to get both of the main shot power-ups immediately, and that's just optimal. You want to get those shot power-ups immediately, if you can. I do believe these projectiles from the boss are faster in the modern. There's a lot of little differences. It's actually quite a list of small differences between modern and classic. Notably, like some of the weaponry, like the shotgun, for example, is huge damage. The BFG actually is like a lot better in the modern version. Because the problem with the classic BFG, it's like a charge weapon, and you have to, if you want to shoot diagonally, you gotta hold either upright or hold both face buttons upright at the same time. if you're using the face buttons to aim, it doesn't like buffer the diagonal input. So unless you release both up and right for a diagonal input on like the same freaking frame, you cannot shoot that thing diagonally. But in the modern version, they do buffer the diagonal inputs for you, so it's easier to use the BFG. So I do actually like it in this version. Here, so that enemy you can roll into. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, the BFG does seem like I was telling Aquas, oh, the BFG sucks, but then Aquas found a way. You know, he uses it in the optimized way. It does kill larges, it does do a good screen clearing, but you guys will notice it's a very jarring experience when you grab BFG because it blows you backwards. And in a game where there's spawns at the feet and everything, you know, you're already strapped on health and it's already hard. Using the BFG probably for your first 1cc, it might not be recommended.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna have a hard time.
It's tough to use for sure, and it's just not optimal in some stages and situations. And if a weapon's not optimal, you just get rid of it.
These spawn pods at the beginning of these stages, they can either have large worms or small worms, and then I think they slow down the spawns of the initial spawn group. So it's really annoying in the speedrun if you get a weird configuration like that and you're trying to optimize for time. You get those spawn pods. We didn't talk about that last time, but those pods are definitely an issue with the speedrun. And sometimes you get, according to the Shaddix, he was saying that they slow down the coffers that are in the room, the population of the room. So if you get like a bad spawn of those pods at the beginning, they can actually slow down the room quite a bit.
That's probably true. And then also I've noticed that it is still random, like which enemies come out. And so there's like those little red tentacle guys that I was like rolling into. You want those guys to spawn early in the room, not late in the room, because they have a lot of HP. So if it's late, then you're gonna lose time at the end of the room. So there's also like that to contend with as well.
So see, yeah, he got like first cycle on those worms. That was really good. So you guys can see that aspect of that room. That's what you're trying to do with every single one of these worm rooms, where if there's any sort of room that has worms, there's like a cycle that you can kind of optimize, and it's pretty cool. It's addicting. Yep. It kind of has like that speed run.
Yeah, so I missed the cycle there, so that was like 3 or 4 seconds lost. That adds up in this stage. Oh, and then later on, these guys come back. Do believe these the burrowers or the tremors, maybe we'll just call them tremors. Anyway, they do have more health in the modern version.
Graboids.
Yeah, the graboids. They have more health in the modern version, so you gotta just hit them a little bit more. Yeah, you can't do it yet, but when they appear in the later stages, you can go over where they're underground, and you can make them pop out. They don't have that behavior in this level though. But that is going to be a strategy I'll use later on to save time, because you don't want them cluttering the screen later on. It's just awful, absolutely awful.
Yeah, see how much health those little red imps have, those little demons? Like, they take so long to kill. So anytime you knife one of those, it's definitely a time save. Especially if it's right away. It's probably like a way you could probably get world record. You know,
oh yeah.
Every single time there's a red demon, getting that an instant knife kill.
See, I couldn't get that one with the melee because 2 of the graboids were there. So I just grenaded it. Like, I'm not going to deal with that.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the biggest time saves in this level, is just sometimes those imps really lose you some time here.
Usually, like, you're ahead of the, like, spawn rate if you're, like, constantly killing stuff. Like, you will be waiting for enemies, but as soon as, like, they get clouded up, you will lose some time with the game limiting the spawns. But of note, there's that, and then there's the end of the room. And the end of the room is always an important moment for saving time. That was decent.
Something worth noting: if you're speedrunning the Genesis version, those humans that you save, if you don't save them on the Genesis version, they will lose you time at the end of these rooms. But on the PC version, I'm pretty sure, I think I remember testing it, the PC version, like the room just ends as like the same as if you did save the humans.
You're right.
So
You're right.
That's one of the differences. That's a little weird.
You're right. Yep. That's nice. So you
in
don't.
the Genesis
yeah.
version, you want to save the humans because otherwise they'll sit there and they'll kind of fade away for like 3 seconds at the end of each room.
Yep. Yep. That's fair. I mean, 'cause it is an easier version, so it's like one more thing you gotta do. It's not a big deal. It's nice that you don't have to do that in this
It's usually
version.
not a big deal, but sometimes you know, if they're in weird spots or whatever. And then again, I remember talking to Aquas about it. Just saving the humans, like it just gets them off the screen because of the sprites. And sometimes just the humans being there will distract you from the spawns and everything.
Yeah.
And it's hard to see.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. It's like less visual clutter to keep track of.
Yeah. There's no other reason to save them though. Like, except maybe like an achievement.
Screw the humans.
I think there's an achievement for it, but there's no actual in-game gameplay reason to save them. They're just Kickstarter backers.
Oh, Aquas is losing time. He's losing time on the shop. See how annoying this is?
Yeah, I wasn't doing the shops quickly just for the sake of the showcase, but you do want to do those shops because the timer is still going.
Oh
Obviously,
man, those shops are annoying. You can lose like tens of seconds.
usually
I think that's
I know
what my
what to
TV
get,
and
but
MegaDrive
yeah.
version loses sometimes.
Usually you know what to get, but yeah. In this stage, let's see, yeah, I just got a grenade. Bought some grenades, and I think I bought a health too. The trick to like get the massive damage on the boss isn't as powerful in the modern version. You can only get like 2x damage, and it just still doesn't do as much damage. So the grenades are less important
those
here.
Wiggly worms there.
BFG.
That's what I was saying before. Is those wiggly worms are annoying. They lose you time, I think, in some regards if they're weird.
Yeah,
If
like
one gets away from
you wanna like melee them or roll over them in the beginning of a room. You can't roll over them once they're spawned. Sadly, I'm pretty sure. So they do suck, and they suck, those larva guys, because they have a lot of HP once they're spawned, and it's just one more thing you gotta like worry about. And it is random if like there's a room that has a ton of them and all this. So
something else that I had in my notes, like on this stage, when you guys see those explosions of those exploding enemies, the hitbox of their explosion goes quite a bit upwards. So
Okay.
if you're above that explosion and you're nowhere near the actual enemy, sometimes I've gotten hit just from it extends the hitbox of that exploding enemy quite a bit. So it's just something to keep track of. It's like, oh man, you gotta, if you're up in this corner or whatever, and there's an exploding enemy, and you're above it, those hitboxes are square, and sometimes you'll get just grazed by the large explosion hitbox, and it's annoying.
for sure. So there was some chaos there. Just took 2 hits because I was like going in to grab ammo, but then I rolled back through the blood. So it's like, oh crap, I took 2 hits. Like that's really bad. Like if I'm on 1 health, I just can't you just can't play your game anymore if you're on 1 health. On 2,
Yeah,
it's
you get
okay.
in a spot. It's always on this stage. You just get down to 1 health and you're shook.
It's just the melee is just and just when things get out of hand, like you have to rely on the melee to keep things under control, and if you can't do that because it's like meleeing is risky, yeah, it just kind of snowballs. With 2 or 3 health, it's fine. Then there's another health, so the game's throwing me a bone here. And like there's like these jaw teeth enemies there. Like those guys are different on the modern. They will take shots all the time you're shooting them. They don't have iframes, and they come at you but they come at you faster. And then they also, once you aggro them with 1 shot, and this is like a strategy with them. Like I did it right there. I aggroed one, and then I let it come at me, and then I melee it. So you can spend a lot of time like shooting them, and it's not very optimal. But if you can like bait them towards you and then melee, it's pretty good.
The wrap around.
The blood still got me, but more health
okay.
drops.
Maybe something fun to mention on this PC version, because you're playing a random seed. Every single time Aquas is entering a room, there can be random doors, random like blockades, random weird quirks of these screens, and you have to instantly, within that first few seconds, react to what enemies are there, where the doors are, and sometimes you'll forget when you're flying around like Aquas is, grabbing the ammo, you'll forget that there's a door on the bottom right there, for example, here. And then you'll go by that area, and you'll just get, like, they shoot out of that door so quickly, and you'll just get hit. And so it is amazing to play these random seeds and just to react to the actual room variety.
I definitely like playing random seed more than the speedrun. Seed 1. It's just
yeah, it is pretty fun.
It's just like like in that room, like I could use like those 2 walls on the left to like maybe guard myself a little bit. But then I got like Xeno Crisis with like a burrowing enemy that came underneath me. It's like you just can't avoid it.
Getting Xeno Crisis. Yeah.
Everybody has to deal with that. Like there really is no good way to do it. Anyway, I got to 1 health here, so I was like, oh god damn it! If I fail this, I'm not gonna have a 1cc run for this show right now. So I'm like, oh god damn it! Like this isn't that hard,
Always
but
1 health on this stage.
like this isn't that hard, but it is kind of like right here. Like it shoots out the little guys more frequently. I think on modern. And they do have a lot of health, and I try to get the grenade to hit the boss and them at the same time. And now I'm having to do like a sketchy roll there with like all of them on screen, and that just barely worked out. That was super sketchy.
The roll. So the roll is a button hold. So if you don't hold the button for the right amount of time, it will end your iframes a little bit sooner. And so that's kind of annoying, right, Aquas? Like, can't you say that sometimes you roll, and because you tapped the roll, it only gave you like 1 iframe, and if you hold the roll, you go too far and you end up in the enemy. So it's like this weird thing where like it commits you to that roll for as long as you hold the button, and it can screw you over or help you. It's definitely a finicky.
Yeah, like there's a minimum distance of the roll before you can cancel it with the roll button, or you can cancel it immediately by shooting, but that can be kind of awkward.
Yeah, you end up getting hit because the roll is a little quirky in this game.
It's tough, and I do believe the female character has a longer roll too, so she's like, her advantages are a little questionable, but maybe mobility is like better if you become like an ultimate master of the game. I'm not quite sure yet. Like this game's, I think, underplayed from like hardcore players still.
Yeah, I was gonna say sometimes, like, you guys are schmuppers, all the schmuppers out there watching this. Sometimes you'll take the opportunity to go to the bottom of the screen and kind of use that vertical schmupp muscle memory to kind of sequence your events. But when you're out and about in the screen and just in a random location, you guys got to keep in mind, like I said in the Smash TV episode, you have an 8-way. It can screw you in 8 ways, and you're no longer comfortable just, dodging from the bottom of the screen and kiting. You're doing these weird, what do you call it in the shmup game, like reaction. You're just reacting. You're no longer vertically shmupping. I wrote down in my notes that this game can turn from a vertical shmup when you're on the bottom of the screen to a horizontal, to a top-down shooter, to just like a Xeno Crisis situation where no matter what you do, you're gonna get hit. So it is like something right, like Aquas, like in the PC version, wouldn't you say?
Look at this, like this is the PC version right here.
In particular, you would want to go to the bottom of the screen. I think that's one of those like top 10 tips for Xeno Crisis, is go to the bottom of the screen to try to survive a little bit, because it will give you some sort of familiarity.
Yeah, as long as there's not a door down there, right?
Right. It's like, how do you deal with this? Go to the bottom of the screen is like maybe your neutral position, what you would call it. In the shmup world.
This is when the modern version really gets crazy here, by the way. You can see the amount of enemies is absurd compared to MegaDrive.
Right.
Yeah, this stage is really hard.
He's doing this with no gas mask.
Yep. We'll get the gas mask. Actually, no, I think I did buy the gas mask. Actually, I do buy it for this level. I don't buy it in the
gas mask.
I don't buy it in.
Speedrun.
Yeah, on MegaDrive I don't.
that's just a testament to the difficulty of this version. Is
Well, sometimes
run, you buy the gas mask.
Sometimes I won't buy the gas mask if I'm like low on tags, and that can be good. You can get away with not using gas masks. It just depends on how good the spawns are of the gassers and if you can kill them fast enough. And if like you're lucky enough to dodge the gas after they let some out, like it is quite brutal. I find that it's much safer to get it, but if you don't get it, you can grab some health. But you know what is health if the gas is like making you take 4 damage on one screen at the same time?
Right.
Yeah, so I think I'm not sure if maxed out. I have max health right now. I didn't max grenades yet. I might not have maxed ammo yet. Yeah, so like that previous stage, that's like kind of the wall for 1cc run. It gets a little okay on this stage and the next stage, but I'd say that stage is where it gets the absolute hardest. And this stage will depend on some rooms later on in this stage. The spawns, it just has so much spawns. It will depend on your weaponry to save time even more so in these last stages. Spreader, that's good.
And obviously, when you kill a zombie and then you have to kill it again, what is that in the speed run? For Aquas to get the world record and try to optimize every single time you can knife those zombies, it's gonna like double your time save.
Yeah, it is good.
Like when you have a good weapon, sometimes it doesn't matter as much.
I don't think the zombies limit other enemy spawns, but they might once there's like 10 of them. I'm not quite sure. I haven't figured out everything about the game, I must say, but
right.
Some enemies do limit spawns of other enemies. I don't think the zombies do. I'm certain some enemies don't. I don't think the zombies do because there can be a lot of zombies and like a lot of other enemies. I think they're intended just to be a nuisance and for you to like make sure they're all dead. Eventually. But yeah, I just want to be like shooting stuff all the time here. Staying out of the middle of the screen from the zappers. They tend not to spawn in the corner and the edges of the screen.
How are the hitboxes on those zappers, Aquas?
I mean, it's huge. They're huge. They're bigger than the graphic, I would say. Those enemies are no joke. You want to prioritize killing those just because that's the random element where you can get Xeno Crisis by them.
They just pop up as like GG's.
Yep, like right there, I couldn't avoid that one, even though I wasn't even on top of it.
Oh man, you see that hit there?
Yeah.
He was like a yard away from that electric and he got hit. That was stupid. He was in a roll. Those things are stupid.
So like you see like the turrets here that come out of the ground, these turrets fire like 3 seconds faster than classic. So if you're not killing them, like you're gonna get in trouble because the way how fast they fire really limits your overall mobility. And good grenade there, beefy one. It's always satisfying when you get a big group of enemies for a grenade. You can't resist to use it. And yeah, this end of the room is slow, by the way. And I'm just like waiting because I'm on 2 health. I can't risk losing more health right now, so I'm not even gonna bother. I'm not even gonna bother like trying to roll over the zombie at the end because, like I say, they randomly get up. And then there's a rocket that's guarded by like 3 hazards. Now I finally get it. You love to see it. Yeah, the world record for the modern version is it just gets such good drops that specifically in this level and the next level, they end up saving a lot of time. I'm still 30 seconds back on the actual record for the modern version. That's a lot of time. It's crazy.
Yeah, the world record on the PC version is pretty crazy, to be honest.
The guy plays really good, but he also gets really good drops. Like he does play really good. But it's really just like that guy.
So does it make you think like, hey, if I got as good as drops as that guy, I could beat him?
Probably, yeah. I definitely would. I think I'm better than him, but yeah.
Well,
the drops are really random. Like the thing is like you don't get a drop with like or a run with like overall good drops ever. Like it happens like one every like 20 runs.
Right.
So
But
like
if he
yeah,
did, you know, he could beat him.
probably. I mean, I'd have to play good too.
Well, I guess only one way to find out.
Yeah, I mean it's a grind, and it is a pretty big grind because of the weapon drop. So I'm content with just like playing random seeds now. But maybe someday I'll get good enough, and we'll get the drops to line up.
Yeah. RNGesus or whatever.
Yep. RNGs is definitely a thing here. Flamethrower is good. Flamethrower can cancel bullets in the modern version. I don't believe it. No, it does not do that in the classic. So there's like some little differences like that as well. I think there's like some other differences. Like shotguns, I think, can completely eradicate zombies with a blast in classic, but they don't in modern. Some other little things here and there. It's interesting, the differences.
I think the knife is more powerful in the later stages of this run just because you have that movement speed that you've upgraded, so you can kind of come in and out of it. So you're noticing Aquas, he's flying around meleeing a little bit more prominently and doing that like cancel thing a little bit. Just because of his movement speed. I think it's like the game feels good to play when you get all upgraded. It definitely has this sense of progression. Like, wow, look at him. He's just flying around now. He's just like pow, 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 and he can back up and actually not take a hit. And I think in the early game, it's a little bit more sketchy for sure.
Oh, out of ammo, and the ammo box.
Melee.
Yeah, out of ammo, and the ammo box was in the corner of the room. Oops, lost time there.
Man.
Yeah, this game is nuts. Look at this, guys. Like those hitboxes on those lightnings are like double the size of what they look like, so something to keep in mind. I think you took a hit there. Did you take a hit there? No, maybe not.
Well, I just did that.
Right there. You wasn't in the lightning.
BFG eradicates the zombies in one hit, so that's pretty nice. So I will use BFG in modern version. It is pretty good. As long as like you're not having bullets coming from like all angles, you know, BFG is definitely feasible here. Because it just kills everything in one hit.
All usage there.
Yeah. You want to use the walls when you can, yeah, to block, because they will block bullets, yeah. That's super useful, in fact. Just so many enemies that it's just so many enemies versus classic. Like all these enemies would have been dead in classic. So I had to like. So since I didn't have like good weaponry at the end of that room, lost like 6 seconds. Like that's what it's all about. Like the weapon drops. Like you want to have a weapon like when a room ends, and if you can
carry it into the next,
and just mostly for the room ending. Of course, this is near the end of the stage now, so the spawns are like, they do turn up the spawn rate as you go later into the level. Rocket is good though. Shotgun in the
you get full ammo.
Oh yeah, shotgun in the modern version is really good, by the way. True.
Sometimes you'll just pick up a drop to get full ammo is what I was going to mention. I don't think we mentioned that. But you
No,
get full, machine gun when you grab a drop.
Yeah, so you can like grab a shitty weapon and then just ditch it to get your ammo refilled. I got plenty of health here, so I'm not really too worried. I'll sometimes save the grenades.
That's brutal. Look at these turrets.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'll save the grenades so I can hit the boss and the turrets that spawn next to the boss, just to be a little more safe. But I had so much health there that it didn't matter too much. Alright. Final level. And once again, the difference in the modern version here is grenades and health are refilled at the final boss room. So now I'm incentivized to use my grenades. Whereas you need those grenades in the classic so you can get the phase 1 final boss quick kill. Or you can get a drop, like a shotgun drop, or well, classic the shotgun sucks, but basically the ideal speedrun for this, you'd get like shotguns for like all the bosses. That would save a ton of time. And then like on the later stages when it gets super busy, just having good weaponry. The whole time.
Yep.
It's a crapshoot. Usually that's not the case, so you're usually like fighting tooth and nail to survive.
Yeah, again, if you guys get into the speed run, that's definitely it's fun too when you get on a run that's a good pace, and then you get a grenade or an extra rocket or a laser. I don't think Aquas has gotten a single laser in this run. It's nuts. That laser really does save a lot of time. So hype on this run that he hasn't gotten a laser yet.
Yeah, I didn't get a laser in the other run either.
But yeah, I mean, usually there's a laser that does piercing damage, and it's really good for the speedrun. And Aquas has somehow, just not gotten it. So you could say when you get a good drop and you're on, like you start, clicking that live split button and running this game. It gets addicting because of that aspect that oh man, look at this, I got a rocket launcher on this room, I can save so much time. Every single time you kill a shield guy, look how long this shield guy takes. Because if you would have had a laser, that guy would have been dead 5 seconds ago. So it gets, you start to, it's like a visually and a noticeable thing when you get a good drop in this game for the speedrun.
Yeah,
You're just like, wow, that room was quick.
Yep. I mean, and you get a break from the action because this like the laser and the rocket, they're just so powerful. So even getting a mental break like that is nice.
It's a feel-good thing,
For sure. It's like I feel like that is the random weapon drops is like definitely a Smash TV element that they like kind of built on here. Because Smash TV is like known for getting weapons that kind of help you.
Because yeah, you can get a shotgun on the boss and it saves, I don't know, like 30 seconds. Yeah. Some of these bosses is pretty.
It's imbalanced. Like this speedrun's the speedrun is imbalanced for sure because of that. MegaDrive might be more consistent, I would say. But yeah, shotgun is just it's crazy good.
The shotgun on the boss is just so crazy good.
I think if that was nerfed, I would have world record.
That's just putting it out there.
Yeah. I gotta toot my own horn sometimes. I do like this game a lot, though.
Anyone that can even just 1cc the version on hard on PC is a gamer.
This is a super hard 1cc, yeah. It's probably too difficult for most people, I would say. Unless like unless you get like dedicated.
Look at these shield guys. They're such a nuisance when they get stacked. Something I had in my notes is when these guys get stacked, it's brutal because they have different timings. You're sitting there. Should I roll into their shield? Should I take a hit? What timing is the third one? Which timing is the first one? And it just gets brutal, right, Aquas? Like, Would you say that the stack of the red shield guys is probably the final, like the hardest thing probably in this stage is like when those red shield guys are stacked and you're on a speedrun.
Oh yeah, I mean at a certain point you either need a weapon or you need to just sacrifice damage so you can use your iframe so you can like rebuild control. Because you do need to go after them. You can't just let them exist. You can kind of sequence one, but when they get stacked, it's like, oh man, I'm gonna take damage here. Yeah, they're yeah. So here we go. This is a ton of them, and I'm forced to grenade here, and thankfully I can grenade. But I do. If I run out of them, and then that happens again, I'm gonna be definitely in trouble speed-wise, and survival-wise. This is just like I'm just getting like overwhelmed here, and I'm forced to play conservative.
Yeah, so you're using the grenades and on the stacks of shield guys in the PC version because you get the refill here, but in the Genesis version, sometimes it adds to the difficulty of the Genesis version. Even though it is easier, but sometimes with that grenades, if you spam them on the red guys, you lose time on the speedrun.
There's a laser.
Spam on the stacks.
Yeah.
Hey, we got a laser.
Well, then I think I'll use it a little bit here once it becomes vulnerable.
Oh, this is actually good for the speedrun, yeah.
So, Here, yeah, if you have a weapon, you can get the 1 cycle with, and if you grab that extra grenade. Yeah, you can use 3 grenades here and a weapon, so I got the 1 cycle kill. But I didn't realize I saved my 4 grenades. I should have actually went for the 2 cycle kill here. But I went for the game over on accident. I could have actually gotten 2 cycle there. Because you need 4 grenades minimum to do it. But yeah, so I
this
do
final
that
boss
again.
is definitely speedrun optimization. You can do some weird stuff to save time here, so it's kind of cool. Like one time I remember watching Aquas, he died and like he was inside the boss and he got extra damage or something. Like he was like clipped into the boss's face or something, and like I don't know, there's some weird stuff you can do for sure. So if you're trying to go for world record, I would put a save state in that final boss and just play it over and over and see what you can do.
You're gonna have to use like cheat engine or something
Like
for
the
that.
timing of the grenades, timing of the drops.
For PC, yeah.
Oh yeah, for the modern
Private
versions. Yeah. Yeah, I think you can. I think it is possible to save time from like that comeback explosion, but ultimately you'd save more time if I had actually used those 4 grenades to not continue, because continuing takes up like 10 seconds. It's a lot, and the world record also continues, which is crazy as well. 10 seconds, because they just save so much time for the weapon drops. But again, though, that guy is really good at the game. Not gonna lie, but still, but you need the weapon drops too. But anyways, that was fun. Thanks for good runs. GG to me. Yeah. That was cool.
It's amazing, dude. Yeah, just to throw down like a random night and try to beat hard mode on PC and Xeno Crisis is definitely cool.
Yeah, those are both fresh runs from today. It did take quite a while to get like to that consistency on the modern version, and like I say, I did try to do a run and I got just like hammered, like on that second outdoors level. And it was like I was like I don't know, I was probably just like a little rusty, but I was getting just like bad situation after situation. Just happens. But anyway, that's Xeno Crisis for you. You can play it on basically anything. You do have the modern version, the classic versions. I'd recommend trying them both. MegaDrive is kind of nice because it is the original version. But then Neo Geo is kind of unique because Neo Geo, it has the rotating control scheme, which is one thing that's different about it, but it's also the only version with like some of the boss animations have more frames of animation. And also on the Neo Geo version, there's blood on the floor and walls. That's not in any of the other versions as well. So I think Neo Geo is like a cool version for this game for those reasons. So I might maybe sometime I'll try to get like a really good run on Neo Geo just because like the blood on the walls and the ground looks cool. And that animation of the bosses is like really cool.
What is like Shock Troopers? Like I remember I was really into Smash TV. You know you look for games similar to this, and you know you play Smash TV on the Super Nintendo, great version. You know maybe the Genesis or PC version, Xeno Crisis, and then maybe like Shock Troopers was probably like another like inspiration for this game for sure. Like the lore, like the style.
Yeah, I could see that.
Those other versions with the different control schemes. I think the control scheme kind of reminded me of playing, you know, some of those like weird PC or the arcade games that don't quite have the smooth Smash TV controls. They have a little bit of quirkiness with the controls and stuff. Like that. You guys
like Midnight. I think Midnight Resistance is one of the. It's like one of them dial 8-way control games. Or like Eco Fighters.
Yeah, what other games have you guys done on here with that control scheme, right?
Probably, yeah.
Ghostbusters. I think Ghostbusters. I don't know if you guys did that one, but I remember playing that one as a weird, like, rotating.
Which Ghostbusters?
I think it's like the Ghostbusters arcade. Like they have like the. I think you're supposed to play with the rotating. maybe I'm wrong, but I
Yeah.
think that's one of the early.
Yeah. But yeah, let's say the different versions are cool. It is impressive that they managed to get the game like pretty dang similar on all of the versions. For the Game Boy Advance, for example, they zoom in the game screen, so you actually scroll the stages a little bit to make for the limitation, the small screen
I haven't
limitation.
checked out that version. I was gonna actually. I remember hearing. I actually heard from Aquas that was on the Game Boy Advance. I wanted to check out that.
You
Just
should.
Out of a curiosity, it's kind of like Doom port.
Yeah, I'd recommend it, and it uses the rotating scheme, control scheme as well. But it's like damn, like Game Boy Advance and N64. I played the N64 version. That was good. I
use
play.
the C buttons on that.
Yeah, you can use the C button, so you have all the buttons you need for that one because the N64 has just a million buttons. I haven't played the Dreamcast version. I haven't played the Neo Geo CD version, but the CD version I think just is I think the CD version has voice acting in the intro. I forget if that's in another version, but yeah, they have voice acting for the intro. In a couple of the versions, not the modern versions for some reason. And I do find it kind of odd that they didn't include like the better boss animations in the modern versions, even though that's part of the Neo Geo. I think they intentionally made all these tiny little differences in all the versions for like people to like seek out all the little quirks, because like it is kind of like that. Like they all have their own quirks. I haven't played the SNES version yet. That would be cool, and apparently it's on PS1 as well. I didn't even know that existed till tonight. I don't know, but yeah. Anyways, guys, shoutouts to my internet for being crappy tonight, and shoutouts to OBS for barely working throughout the episode. I did have those crashes earlier, and it cleared up just like last time, which is really an odd coincidence. We'll look into making sure that. But yeah, my internet had to stream the episode at lower bitrate, unfortunately, and then I had to stop the local recording because it was slowing down my computer. So we don't have the local recording, so we do have the stream version, and I think it should be fine since this game doesn't really have the most busy of graphics like a cave shmup or anything. It should be fine at the low bitrate. But in any case, great to have you on, RNGesus, to yap on about this game. Yeah, I think we did a great job talking about all the different crap, and there really is more to this game too that I'm sure we glossed over. It's like a lot of stuff, and it's just one of those games that if you like arena shooters or you like arcade-style games, or like really really good like kind of a homebrew effort in a sense, from a Kickstarter project, yeah, Xeno Crisis, I think it's one of the best out there that you can get.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Yeah, I'm glad to be here, and yeah, maybe I'll see you in some other random game sometime as a guest.
For sure. Alright, so that'll do it for the episode 212 on Xeno Crisis, and till next episode, bye everybody.
See you next game later.